You know, she follows.
All right, you are listening to an episode of Transparency and Merit. Tonight we have a guest with us, Beppe Grillo. Yes. Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Hello.
Good.
Yes.
Hello, Brian. How are you?
Good.
I'm good. There's been a few changes out there, but there's going to be a book written. I think it's about a 13-year-old stud who impregnated his whole trailer park. Many of the women were middle-aged, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and
I want this book.
Is called This
book.
This book was called 13-Year-Old Stud, and it might be made into a movie. Meat Spin. Beppe Grillo might be producing it through Meat Spin.
Meat Spin will produce this.
Could be.
It will be an anime. It will be Japanese animation, though. We can't have real actors. But
Yes.
As the future has shown us anything, it will absolutely prevail.
So what are we going to talk about tonight?
Well,
No
we have-
drama.
You know what? All right, no drama. So
I
we
do.
were talking a little bit about.
Hold on,
about-
before we get to that, I do want to say, go back and listen to last night's show if you want to hear some drama. Go back to last night's show. It was a great show. You did a great job, Brian. I think everybody should at least hear that. Go ahead. What do you got?
All right. So
Is
we
this
were
show brought to
talking.
you by Cleanse? This show is brought to us by
Yes,
Cleanse
this
More.
show is going to be brought to you by Cleanse More. Don't sit on the pot. Give it all you got with Cleanse More.
That's right. Give it all you got.
So Barista Grillo, he watched the documentary on Muhammad Ali.
Yes, called Fighting Ali. You can watch it on Stream Picks.
Now,
Free.
you said Ed Chavallo, the Canadian. Is it Ed Chavallo? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, he said that Ali told him that he was the toughest fighter he had fought in his prime, like when he was in his 20s. That he had given him the toughest time.
Matter of fact, he ducked Chavallo, and Chavallo dressed up like a woman and came to one of his, what do they call it before the fighter? Ali had signed with somebody else, and Chavallo put on a wig and a dress and showed up at the at one of his pre-fight whatever they call them. I think it was right before the Liston fight.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about Chavallo is his two sons OD'd, and then his wife committed suicide. This guy went through a lot of problems.
No. But and he was one of the guys who's, when Ali won the second fight, Chavallo was right there in the ring saying, "This looks like a fix."
Right.
He was pissed.
Right. He got in. Yes, you're right. He jumped into the ring on the second fight and said, "Yeah, it's a fix." Yeah. Most of these guys that fought Ali were at all the fights. That's the interesting thing about it. You're right. You're exactly right. You got a good memory. He was at the fight. He jumped in the ring. He was pissed off. You're right.
No, I mean, and who study this and look at this, I mean, because I'm not a person that like really believes in many conspiracy theories, but this is the one conspiracy theory where I actually believe that fight was a fix. That second fight.
The Chavallo says that Elijah Muhammad and the had something to do with the fix. They were all scared of the Islam. What do they call it?
The Nation of Islam.
The Nation of Islam was intimidating all these fighters, and they were backing Ali, and they had scared all these people. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it even talks about how Ali turned his back on Malcolm X. And he always regretted that. But matter of fact, Ali said he liked Chavallo's hair. Chavallo had good hair, by the way. He did. He had good hair. He was a good-looking guy.
I'm very envious.
You know what I mean? He still, as a young man, I mean, he still looks like a fairly young guy. He's 80 now, and he still looks like he's in his 80s, and he still looks like, you know, like he could go toe-to-toe with some of these guys today, these bums.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Talk about drama. He went through a lot of drama.
Oh, sure did.
Yeah. Yeah, he thought it was a fix. He jumped in the fucking ring because he didn't see. Nobody saw the punch.
Yeah.
That was the phantom punch.
Yeah, and people have been. I mean, like people have been talking about that. I remember my father also said that looked like when he won the championship. I remember him first saying that my father wasn't that big of an Ali fan, and you know, because what he thought about boxing. I mean, he always said, you know, he always thought Joe Louis was a better fighter. I'm not really sure if Joe Louis would have been able to defeat Ali. Although Joe Louis had a really methodical.
Well, he lost to the German. He lost to the.
He did. But I mean, he had the longest reign. Joe Louis had the longest reign of any heavyweight championship.
Well, the Italian
any championship fighter.
How many years?
Well, I think it was 39 to 48.
Oh, 30.
But
Oh, wow.
Patrice
So
Producer,
9 years.
only one boxer has ever retired undefeated, I believe.
And that's Rocky Marciano, yeah.
That's Brett, the Italian guy.
I have never lost a boxing match, and I am retired, so
Yes.
I can be thrown in that.
Chiming in.
Yes.
And unfortunately, his nose
Also,
did
by the
not
way,
get broke.
by the way,
It would have
you should
improved it.
you should check out the video of Mike Tyson talking about Ali. He did recently. He gets high, he smokes a joint, and then goes on and gives an emotional description of his thoughts on Muhammad Ali, the fighter, and it's pretty good. If you like,
Well, he was a
Tyson.
historian on boxing. Mike Tyson. He knew all of it.
He knew them all.
He
Yeah,
patterned himself after Jack Johnson.
he sure did.
You should watch a documentary on Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was the greatest heavyweight of all time, according to what I've seen. There's was a documentary on him on like an NPR WTTW, you know, calling. Jack Johnson was awesome, and he viewed these films and he patterned himself after him.
I'll tell you something, like for a long time, the heavyweights were a lot lighter back in the, you know...
Ali was a light heavyweight. You're right. He was 175 pounds. He was light. There's a documentary on now about Liston called Pyra, something about, what do they call him?
He was an animal in the ring.
Well, he was under mob control. He threw every fight he ever fought.
I want the
Well,
book.
I mean, he definitely... Yeah. He threw the fight against Ali, and I wonder if the mob was under that control or if that was the Nation of Islam.
Nation of Islam, and his last fight was against Chuck Wepner, the what do they call it, the Bayonne Bleeder,
and he beat him.
And he beat him, and he wasn't supposed to, and that's when he shortly after that he was found dead, in his room. 5 days he laid there dead.
Because Chuck Wepner was considered the Great White Hope, and this was just a tune-up fight.
The Great White Mope.
The Great White Mope. Well, and I guess they couldn't interview Jerry Clory. Remember him? He was also a Great White Hope too.
Well, he's a pincushion now, right? Is he still alive? Jerry
no, he's dead. No, he died. He died before Ali or Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier died. Jerry Clory died. Like in, I think, 95 or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, they were showing this documentary on StreamPix. That Foreman beat the fuck out of Frazier. Beat the fuck out of him.
Oh, yeah. He looked like a little child.
Yeah, he was jumping all over the ring like a jumping bean. He was punching him all over the place. But then, he lost in the Rumble in the Jungle. Was that the Rumble in the Jungle? Which one? Which one was?
And you know, George Foreman at times would say, you know, look, I was given my water tasted like sleeping medicine, so he might have been made sick during the our maid where it was where he was made, and I never knew why he didn't fight a second, like why George Foreman and Ali never fought a second time.
That's a good question.
Sounds like you took a few too many blows to the head.
Yeah, no, I was thinking. No, well, he said his water. Foreman says water tasted like medicine. when he was fighting Ali.
Mm-hmm.
And he says it kind of had a negative reaction.
I heard he was
him,
on
and that's
cleanse more, is what I heard.
Well, he might have been, and that like that place will dehydrate you.
If you remember the first Liston fight, it was the liniment on the gloves that went into his eyes.
Oh, Ali, yeah. Well, with Ali, that's what he did. But
yeah, he almost quit that fight. They had to push him out in seventh round. I think that fight went seven rounds. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Wanted to go to heaven, so he sent him home in 7. And Ali, and Liston didn't want to get up anymore because I don't think he'd really trained, and he had been knocking people out left and right. And
that was the first time he got cut in that fight. That was the first time he ever was cut.
Yeah. And then he was nervous, and then but the second fight,
all right. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think during this, I think had he literally fought the second fight, like for real, I think he would have defeated Ali. I don't think, I think he would have knocked him out. Like he knocked out all his other opponents. I think.
Well, the only one he really knocked out was Floyd Patterson. I mean, you know. Some people say Cleveland Williams was the toughest. All these fighters talk about Cleveland Williams. Ali beat the hell out of him.
He did. He did.
Ali fought everybody, though. When you look at the people he fought, and then you know what the funny thing is, you mentioned Mike Tyson, Jewish producer. Mm-hmm. He criticized who's the guy that the last fight Ali fought against? What was his name? The black guy. He said all he did was beat up an old man.
Larry Holmes.
Larry Holmes beat up an old man. That's what Tyson said. What did he win? He beat up an old man.
Yeah,
which was true. It was true. He beat up an old man.
Did Ali, was he? I wonder if he was having financial trouble is the reason why he took that fight. Or was
actually, all the fighters give Ali. They all thank him for their careers.
Yeah.
Shaver came out of the prison. If it wasn't for Ali, he wouldn't have had any money.
Yeah.
You know,
Shavers got beaten by Quarry. I mean, and it was a surprising knockout.
Norton was in a bad car accident. They interviewed Norton too. His car went off of a ravine 30 feet, and he was paralyzed for 5 years. He walks with a cane, and all he does is praise Ali for putting money in his pocket.
Yeah.
So they all praised him, every single one of them. Even Spinks, they even interviewed Spinks, which was, if you could understand it, they had to use subtitles.
Want to welcome Chlamydia Piss to the show. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, speaking of chlamydia, now Leon Spinks, I remember that fight. He was a toothless.
Bearded head.
He was toothless. He looked like he had the vampire. He could have been a good vampire with those teeth.
He had no teeth. He had no teeth.
He had 2 fangs.
Yes.
And he beat Ali, and then Ali beat him.
Right. And then Norton broke his jaw. Right. Norton broke his jaw. There's a controversy over that. Ali claims it got broke in the first round, but Norton says he broke it in the last round.
Yeah, he's probably right. Norton's probably telling the truth on that.
Yeah. But the Nation of Islam are dirty, man. According to both these documentaries, the one on Liston and the one on Ali, the Nation of Islam had their hand in everything. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he kills Malcolm X. He kills Malcolm X eventually.
Yeah, he did. He did end up murdering him and never got charged with anything. And some of them were and are fanatical people.
I used to get bean pies from the
Now, how are those?
Yes,
I think they're awesome. They're pretty awesome, but I imagine they spit in them before they sell them to white people. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But but the taste is so good.
They're good. They're excellent. Sell them right on the street corner, along with a bottle of water. Cost you $3 for a pie.